welcome back to another episode of the Power Podcast. As you can tell, I don't sound too well. I've come down with a flu, been sick for about 5 or 6 days now, and I will try to get through this. I know I promised one a week, and so I'm going to darn well get through one a week. Haven't missed any work yet, so crossing my fingers this is getting better. Let's jump right into it. First off, last week's Raw and SmackDown. Raw again just didn't deliver, and they had a pay-per-view this Saturday or Sunday, Fastlane. There just wasn't much of a build-up, and it just was not entertaining. You didn't have all your stars there. It was just it was a lackluster show. SmackDown was good. It delivered. It had AJ Styles having a match with Luke Harper to determine the number one contender for Bray Wyatt's title. That match alone was better than anything on Raw. And I'll put in your comments down below what you think about that. But so that was the February 27th and the March 1st Raw and SmackDown. I'm just not going to get into the matches on either one because, Raw was just terrible. So I got nothing to say about that. But SmackDown was overall decent, and they've been pretty good for quite a while. Like for me, I know I'm an AJ fanboy, but Raw just can't put on a caliber match that he can, and I think that SmackDown has got the better talent. Excuse me. Wow. But anyhow, that was when you got a pay-per-view coming up and your show is terrible leading up to the pay-per-view, what do you expect of the pay-per-view? Like, people went into the pay-per-view thinking it was going to be terrible, but we're going to get into that later. So Raw and SmackDown, Raw I gave it about a 4.5, and SmackDown was about a 6.5, almost a 7 out of 10. SmackDown is to me just overall better. They have less time, so there's more matches, but they had a little bit of talking this week. I'm not a big fan of all the talking. You've got a show, you don't need to do a 20-minute promo. You can do a 2-minute promo, say the same thing, the same intensity, and get the point across. There's just get on with the show. There's the talking. And I'll say this, they better not be, and then what I've heard was the WWE's announced is this Tuesday, AJ will verse Randy Orton for the number one contendership to Bray's title. Randy Orton already said he wasn't going to fight Bray, and then the whole twist of what happened where Randy went to the compound and burned it down, and like, I'm coming for my title kind of thing. Well, if you relinquish your title, Matt, your number one contendership, why do you automatically think you get it back because you burnt down somebody's house? It's just weird. Now AJ's getting screwed, and I have a funny feeling they're going to give us a Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, and I'll be honest with you, I don't want to see that. I just don't want to see it. I know that's what it's built up to that, but I don't want to see it. Not at WrestleMania. I don't think it's a WrestleMania match. I think AJ versus Bray or AJ versus Randy is more of a WrestleMania match, or make it a triple threat. But the way they're going now, it almost seems like they're going to have AJ versus Shane at WrestleMania, which is just nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants to see it. Anyhow, let's move on. Then we get into The Flash. The Flash, I've liked this two-parter with Gorilla Grodd storyline. They had Gorilla Grodd come in. This is the second part, and Gorilla Grodd came in, brought his army over to Central City to take over. And I actually kind of enjoyed it. It was not a bad episode. They didn't really progress much of the character-wise, but I do find that they are focusing a bit too much on Wally. Wally's a good character, he's a good actor and everything, but I felt this last episode there was more Wally than there was Barry Allen. I'm like, come on, the show is called The Flash, it's not called Kid Flash, but anyhow. Overall, good show. I'm really hoping they pick up. I found that this season has been very lackluster. Just not enough intensity for my liking. And damn it, let Caitlyn use her powers. Jeez, what a waste. Anyhow, what else we got here? Then on Saturday, the wife and I and my good friend, we went and saw Logan, and we did the VIP experience at the Silver City in Coquitlam. If you've never done VIP at the Silver City Coquitlam, you got to do it. It's like you got to be 19 plus to get into this place because there is a bar. You sit like they scan your ticket, they let you in, you can go sit in the bar. They have a bar restaurant thing going on, nice relaxed atmosphere, a couple fireplaces going. And then when you go to your theater, huge leg room, huge leg room. Your seat reclines a bit. They actually serve you, up until the credits or the previews start rolling. They actually serve you in your seat. Like you want beer, you want pop, you want popcorn, you want food. They'll bring it to you, and they do that right up until the credits start. Or as soon as the previews start, service ends, and then anybody that's ordered gets their stuff. Fantastic service, and the screens and the sound and everything is great. And then the one thing I like about it is you don't have kids. Now, I went and saw Logan, which is rated R. There shouldn't be kids in there, but I've seen parents bring their kids to rated R films. And I just don't want to deal with kids. I want to enjoy the movie. And 95% of the people that go into the VIP are respectful, don't talk through the movies, don't have their damn phones on, and are watching the show and enjoying it. And that's what you want. You don't want a bunch of kids kicking seat. I'm going to take my kid to a movie. I'm going to go take him to a Lego Batman or something like that. I expect kids there. Nothing I can do about it. Got to deal with it for 2 hours and then run for the hills out and you're done. But anyhow, Logan, wow. And spoilers, people, I'm telling you, I may say the wrong thing. So you're warned now, spoilers on Logan. I went into this movie and it was, I was mixed emotions. I was excited but very upset at the same time. When it comes to the Marvel Universe, my favorite guys have always been the Hulk, Wolverine, and then DC it's Superman. Those are my three favorites. And so when they said this is going to be his last outing, and then they said they're kind of deriving it from the Old Man Logan graphic novel by Mark Miller, I was kind of like, wow, they can't really do that storyline because you can't really borrow from Disney. I want to borrow the Avengers and Captain America and Red Skull, and they just wouldn't work together that way. Not like Sony, and it's kind of like Sony knows it's dying off with Spider-Man, so I'm like, yeah, we'll collaborate with Disney to do a Spider-Man movie in Civil War. So anyhow, Logan. Anyways, it's like I think it takes place about 30 years from now. He's aged. He's not doing well. He's like a chauffeur driver, and then he's taking care of Professor X, who is aged and he's not doing well, and Caliban, the guy from X-Men Apocalypse, who can kind of find mutants. He's also helping taking care of Charles. Charles has these insane seizures that his powers go off and basically kill people, essentially. And Logan has to administer the drug to him to calm him down and make sure he takes his pills so that he keeps level and doesn't freak out or have these seizures. They hint in the movie that Professor X maybe killed 7 of the X-Men. They don't really, like I said, I'd have to watch the movie again, but there was a thing about he had killed 7 people. And now, originally, in the Old Man Logan, Mysterio used his powers to make Logan think that the bad guys were in the mansion, and so Wolverine killed him. Well, it turned out he killed the X-Men because Mysterio had used his powers to make him think that they were somebody else. So now they've kind of like, oh, Charles did it. They don't show anything, no flashbacks to it or anything, but it's alluded to. And so anyways, Logan's, he's walking around with a limp, and, he's beaten up. And like in the very beginning, he's like laying in his limo, and somebody's trying to jack his hubcaps or something. And he gets out, they shoot him, he gets up, and then he just goes berserker. But it's kind of, his blades come out, but one of the blades doesn't come out all the way. And later on, he pulls it out because he's just old and slowing down, and his body's just breaking down, and he's not healing properly. And then this young girl, X-23, is brought into. It turns out she's X-23 if you know the comics, but her name is Laura, and she's like him. She has 2 claws instead of 3, but she has these foot and heel claws as well, which are just super cool, which she uses in the film. Then they're trying to take her to this place that's safe for mutants, and then it's revealed that this place that they want to go to is a place that was in one of the X-Men comics, and Logan's trying to say, look, this place is not real. It's in a comic book, So he agrees to take him anyways because he's like, well, maybe show you. I'm going to take you there. There's going to be nobody there, and you're kind of on your own. But the professor says, hey, she's your daughter, and all this. If you haven't watched all the X-Men movies, some of the stuff won't make sense to you. But you have to watch all the X-Men movies, all the single Wolverine movies. The first, the new X-Men and the old X-Men, all the end credits and everything. Everything kind of builds together to make sense in this one. My wife hadn't seen Apocalypse, so I had to explain what happened in that movie and the end credits. It wasn't really the Essex Corp that was involved in this one. So they didn't use Mr. Sinister. They used, I can't remember the Treslin. I can't remember the name, but the ones that originally made Wolverine, which I don't think was the Essex Corp. Anyhow, you had the Reavers in there as the bad guys. They're like they're human with robotic parts, like guns and robotic hands and whatnot. Lots of violence, and it's very awesome violence, like a lot of claws going into skulls, which is really cool. There was a scene where Professor X is losing control of he's going into a seizure, and everybody is frozen, and they're kind of choking and dying slowly. And the bad guys are pointing guns at him, and there's Wolverine walking down the hallway using his claws to get down the hallway. And he slowly gets to the room, and then he sees these bad guys, and he slowly puts blades through all their skulls and bodies. And you're just like, this is so awesome. It was violent. It was emotional. Great story. It was a great send-off for the character. My wife was laughing because I did cry at the end because Logan does die. Basically when he's fighting X-24, which is a clone of himself. And Logan can't, he's dying because of the adamantium in his body is what they've alluded to, is it's slowly killing him. So that's why he's not healing well, and he's sick, and his body's just breaking down. And anyways, he's fighting X-24, and he's basically just about dead. And Laura puts down X-24. And then they put a cross up for Wolverine, and she kind of tilts it and makes it into an X. And it was just like, damn, man, right in the feels. It was a great send-off, great movie. You got to see it. I kind of haven't done justice with my review. I just wanted to say I really loved the movie. I will be buying it when it comes out. It was that good. I might go see it again in the theater. It was just so good. Check it out if you get a chance. It's worth seeing. It's a good send-off. A big thank you to Hugh Jackman for 17 years of playing the character in 9 different movies. Even though in X-Men First Class he's only in it for all of 10 seconds and tells them to go F themselves. It counts as a character portrayal. Great film. Next up we have Fastlane, WWE Fastlane. And I gotta say, I enjoyed the pay-per-view. The matches were good. On paper they looked like crap. They pulled it off. And I'll say the only parts I didn't like was the Jinder Mahal and Rusev part, where they were fighting in the back room, and then Mick Foley's like, I'll give you guys matches, go out to the ring and I'll announce your partner, who you're fighting. It was a waste of time. I'm sorry. I didn't want to see either one of those guys in a match, and you wasted Cesaro, and I didn't think Big Show was necessary. So I didn't enjoy that. But if you expected anything else but a squash match with Kevin Owens and Goldberg, then you're just clueless. Goldberg's 50 years old. There's no way he can go do a 20, 30-minute match. He never could before. What do you expect him to do now when he's aged? There's no way he can go like that. Maybe he can. He looks like he's in phenomenal shape. But nobody remembers the William Regal and Goldberg match prior to Goldberg's first title run there. Regal's out there trying to have a match with this guy, and he's kind of like, geez, this guy can't do a match. He can't. He doesn't know how to work on the spot. He botches stuff. Like the basic things like a knee to the stomach, and it doesn't look good. Goldberg is hype. He'll be come and gone. Doing this for his kid and his wife. They never see me wrestle. He'll come and go. It'll be done. And I don't think he'll last a year. Probably unless he signed a year contract, which will be probably done in Survivor Series. Anyhow, the women's match, Charlotte and Bailey was good. Nia Jax and Sasha Banks. I don't know why Nia didn't win. I don't. But anyhow, it was a decent match overall. Sasha really sold. She was getting tossed around like a rag doll. Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman surprised the hell out of me. I'm not a big fan of Roman Reigns, but they had a decent match. I was surprised that Roman went over, but whatever. I'm not the booker. My favorite match was the tag team championship match. My boys, the club, Anderson and Gallows retained their title against Enzo and Big Cass. They had a really good match. For Enzo and Cass, it's the same formula. Enzo takes a beating for 3/4 of the match, and then Big Cass comes in and cleans house. But no, I was glad that they won. And the Samoa Joe, Sami Zayn, I think that it was a good match, but they should have put Joe over so quickly. Like, they want this guy to be a beast. Sami Zayn's a good wrestler, and but you're gonna squash him. That's just how it's gonna be. But I don't know. But overall, I really enjoyed the pay-per-view. But a lot of people hated it. It got a lot of hate online. A lot of people are like, what a piece of crap pay-per-view. And I'm like, maybe it was because I was watching it with my son and my mother-in-law, my wife, and we were feeding off each other. But overall, it was a good pay-per-view. I enjoyed it. See what happens tonight on Raw. So that's pretty much all I've got for you today. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, and share, and hopefully next week I'll have a better voice. So until next time, take care.